Hi, this is Rob with SDC International Shipping. I am a General Manager of International Relocations, and I want to spend a little time with you today discussing your relocation from the USA to France, and specifically your shipping of your household goods and personal effects. Every year, France is more and more popular in terms of a destination for us, and in fact, I believe it is certainly within our top three in terms of destination countries for relocations at this point. We've been at this for well over a decade, so we have a tremendous amount of experience. And based on that, I wanted to go over a few things. First of all, I think it's important for you to understand what we believe, based on our experience, is important for you to look for in an international shipping company. The other side of that coin, perhaps, what should you be looking out for, watching out for? What are the red flags that you should be watching out for when working with an international shipping company? Also, I want to go through the process itself. I think it's important for you to understand the process from start to finish based on a typical door-to-door scenario. And then also I'll answer a lot of the frequently asked questions that always come up, as well as a lot of the frequently unasked questions. But I think that they're important for you to understand so that you're more educated in terms of the whole process, shipping to France. So without further ado, let me jump in. Based on my experience, what do I think is important for you to look for in an international shipping company? Well, first of all, the obvious one is going to be expertise and experience. At SDC, like I said, we've got well over a decade experience doing nothing but international shipping. And you want to work with a company that has a tremendous amount of experience and is expert in making that happen door to door. There are more moving parts than most people know in this sort of a transaction. And you really must work with a company that has a tremendous amount of experience so that everything is taken care of. All the I's are dotted, all the T's are crossed ahead of time. Customs clearance is just a formality with a company like SDC. So that's critically important. Another thing that I know is very important is that you want to work with a company that has an internal, dedicated support and logistics team. Any company, anybody, any name can come and book a job, but will they be there in terms of support and the logistics to answer your questions, to make sure that all the documentation, all those T's that we talked about and I's that we talked about are crossed and dotted? That's critically important. So what we do at SDC is once a job is booked, we bring into the fold a support and logistics manager who specializes, in this case France, specializes in that destination, make sure that everything is in order so that there are no challenges and problems along the way. And also they're there to answer any questions you might have. So if you have a question, you can call or email or both and make sure that you get an answer to your question so that we stay with you from start to finish. And the support and logistics internal team is very critical to that. So you want to work with a company that has something like that. Here's an obvious one, and that is the online reviews. Make sure that you're looking at companies that have and look at their online reviews with the major sites that nobody can fiddle with the results. Yelp is a good one, Google as well. So the major sites, look at their online reviews. Anyone can have a bad review here or there. That is human nature, I suppose. It's almost impossible not to have something at some time, but the preponderance should be 4 and 5 star, and at SDC certainly we possess that. Another one that's critically important, really it is, and it doesn't apply in every single case. There are exceptions to this, but I believe that there should be a visual survey of some form. So in other words, the international shipping company needs to put their eyes on what you're doing. So not only to truly understand the volume, how much space is being occupied in the container on the ship, but also what the extra and additional needs might be. In other words, I can look at a filing cabinet and understand, okay, how much room does it occupy and what am I going to have to do to make sure that it's wrapped and protected the appropriate, perfect way so that it goes from start to finish, door to door, in the exact same condition that it started in, right? But that is going to be different than a glass china cabinet. We're going to do things a little bit differently, even if the volume turns out to be roughly the same. So we really want to understand what your shipping and what your true needs are, all of them, so that when we come back to you with the proposal, it's intelligent and based upon exactly what you're doing. So that visual survey, whether it's in person or virtual, is critically important in many cases, the majority of cases, as a matter of fact. So make sure that the company doesn't want to put their eyes on it. That's a red flag, I would think. Let's jump into the red flags, the other side of the coin, the things that, in our experience, you should be watching out for, the things that are red flags. One of them is a proper, legitimate, true international shipping company, a relocation company like SDC. It's a business we're in, and that's all we do, and we handle things from door to door. So when you're speaking with us, we have all the information, we take care of everything. Let's contrast that with a company that might just be a name. They get a booking, and then they begin looking around for other third parties possibly, or fourth parties, you just don't know, in order to try and handle all the different aspects and elements of that particular shipment. Again, SDC, we're the real deal. This is what we do, start to finish. We're not a broker, but so what are some of the downsides of not working with a true legitimate company, working with one of these, what we might call a broker? Well, first of all, the communication is going to suffer with a broker because they're not really the company. If you have a question for them, they're going to have to reach out to a third, and the third party is going to have to perhaps reach out to someone you just don't know to get an answer. So the communication is going to suffer, and then more importantly, probably the quality. A broker who isn't really engaged in this business themselves exclusively might use a third party today that they didn't use last month, and that next month they might not be using. Who knows? And so they don't know necessarily what the quality is going to be. It's really up in the air. Whereas at SDC, we have one way of doing things. That's the right way, and it's handled by us. So be on the lookout for true, proper, legitimate companies versus something a little bit different. Another one, what we call the bait and switch, or the lowball pricer. And this is out there quite a bit. You ever seen a commercial on TV that says as low as or starting at? That isn't necessarily the product that you are looking for. So that price isn't your price. And in addition, in this industry, a lot of people just throw out low price, and without doing that visual surveys, throw price out and hope for the best at the end. What we have experienced, unfortunately, is that very often the low price will be the highest price in terms of dollars, and sometimes other things as well. So be real careful about the company that just throws out a lowball price. What we do is we try to really understand here at SDC. We really try to understand what your situation is, what the circumstances are, what your needs are, and provide the absolute best price to do it. Again, we only do things one way, and that's the right way. So watch out for the low ball price, the bait and switch. We call it the bait and switch also. Oh gosh, we didn't know you had this, that, and the other thing. And oh gosh, we can't actually ship it for that price. We're going to need more money, but they've already got your stuff, so watch out. Another one, this is a red flag for sure. It may be a glowing, flashing neon red flag, and that is any company that's requiring money upfront deposits, cash. I would be very cautious of something like that. We do not. Is a security deposit or a security authorization acceptable? Because there are things that have to be booked and scheduled and things of that nature upfront. Yeah, but upfront money deposits, I would be very, very cautious like that. And at SDC, we do not take upfront cash deposits. The other side of the look for good reviews. Consistently poor reviews on the online website, something that you certainly want to watch out for. That's a red flag. Like I said, anyone can have a or a couple, bad reviews based on misunderstandings or who knows what. Again, we don't know, but the preponderance should be 4 or 5 stars like we are. So watch out for the consistent bad reviews. That's a red flag. Finally, and this is very important, lack of a comprehensive proposal. That's a red flag. Certainly when I engage with a client or anyone at SDC, when we engage with the client, we're going to have some discussions, and a little bit casual discussions, and try to understand what things are. We're going to throw out ballpark prices based on what we understand, based on discussions. But ultimately, a true proper company is going to provide a professional, comprehensive proposal, quote, and that is going to spell out, of course, a price. But for this price, this is what's included. This is what is not included, perhaps. so that it's very, very clear and transparent what is included in the price. Failure to do this, I would say, is a major red flag if a company is just throwing out a price, because again, it's going to come down to the as low as starting at. Oh, gee, I'm sorry, that's just the boat ride. You want your items picked up and packed and taken to the ship and actually transported on board and then customs cleared and then brought to your door. That's totally different price. Well, be careful of that. So again, professional, comprehensive proposal. Lack of that is a red flag, and an SEC will only provide you before booking with a full, comprehensive, and professional proposal.